Good morning. So today we are going to be doing lesson 15. And lesson 15 is, I apologize, there's a typo, is not adding polynomials, but it's actually subtracting polynomials. So I'd like you to take a second to do the do now and come back with your answers. So in the do now, we needed to distribute. So when I distribute my 2 in question number 1, 2 times 5x gives me 10x. 2 times a negative 9 gives me negative 18. For number 2, there was a negative. Remember, that's an invisible negative 1 that needs to be distributed. So I distribute my negative 1 to the 2y, and I get negative 2y. Negative 1 to 7 gives me a negative 7. So today we're going to learn how to subtract polynomials. And in order to subtract polynomials, the first thing we're going to do is we need to distribute. And then after we do that, we will just combine like terms like we did with adding. So if you take a look at the example below, we have 2x squared minus 8x plus 4 minus 5x squared minus 3x plus 1. Here, I'm minusing, so that's really telling me there's an invisible negative 1 there that needs to be distributed to this whole trinomial there. So the first numbers I can just rewrite, so I have 2x squared minus 8x plus 4. Then the second set, negative 1 times 5x squared makes it a negative 5x squared. Negative 1 times a negative 3x gives me a positive 3x. And negative 1 times 1 gives me a negative 1. So the negative really just changes all the signs there. So then we need to combine our like terms. So here I have 2x squared and negative 5x squared, which gives me a negative 3x squared. Then I have negative 8x and 3x, which gives me a negative 5x. And then I have 4 and negative 1, which gives me a 3. So now take a look at question number 1. We have 9x squared plus 5x minus 1 minus negative 2x squared plus 2x plus 7. There's an invisible negative 1 here because it's minus that I need to distribute. So I'm distributing that negative there. And then when I rewrite it, I just drop the first one down. I have 9x squared plus 5x minus 1. And then negative 1 times negative 2x squared becomes a positive 2x squared. Negative 1 times 2x becomes a negative 2x. Negative 1 times 7 becomes a negative 7. Then we want to combine our like terms. So I have 9x squared and 2x squared, which gives me 11x squared. I have 5x and negative 2x, which combine to give me a positive 3x. And then I have a negative 1 and a negative 7, which combine to give me a negative 8. So then, what is my degree here? Now remember, this is a little review. Degree is my highest exponent, so that would be a 2. My leading coefficient is the coefficient in front of that highest exponent, which would give me an 11. And then we need to name it. My exponent is a 2, so that means it's a quadratic. And there are 3 terms, so it's a quadratic trinomial. So I'd like you to take a second, do question 2, and come back to check your answer. So taking a look at example number 2, we need to distribute that negative, so I just rewrite the first trinomial, 2y to the 4th plus y minus 1. Then when I distribute, I get negative 4y to the 4th, positive 2y, and negative 3. I combine my like terms, so I have 2y to the 4th and negative 4y to the 4th, which gives me a negative 2y to the 4th. I have a positive 1y, remember there's an invisible 1 there, and a 2y, which gives me a positive 3y. And then I have a negative 1 and a negative 3, which gives me a negative 4. My degree is 4 here, my highest exponent. My leading coefficient is that negative 2, and this makes it a quartic trinomial. So now let's brainstorm. How is this question different than the one above? Well, here we're subtracting, but when we're subtracting not just with that invisible 1 there, it's a negative 2. So we're going to do the same kind of process, but instead of distributing the negative 1 here, I'm distributing the negative 2 to each of my terms. So I rewrite the first parenthesis, so I have negative 2x squared minus 3x plus 4. Negative 2 times x squared gives me a negative 2x squared. Negative 2 times a negative 3x gives me a positive 6x. And negative 2 times a positive 1 gives me a negative 2. Then we're just going to combine our like terms. So I have negative 2x squared and negative 2x squared, which gives me a negative 4x squared. I have negative 3x and 6x, which give me a 3x. And then I have a 4 and a negative 2, which combines to give me a 2. So for question number 1, I have 7x squared plus 5x minus 6 minus 3 times negative 2x squared plus 4x plus 2. So I see that negative 3 and I need to distribute it out. So I'm going to rewrite the first set of parentheses. And negative 3 times negative 2x squared gives me a positive 6x squared. Negative 3 times 4x gives me a negative 12x, and negative 3 times 2 gives me a negative 6. We want to combine our like terms. I have 7x squared, and I have 6x squared, which gives me 13x squared. I have 5x, and I have negative 12x, which combines to give me a negative 7x. And then I have a negative 6 and a negative 6, which combine to give me a negative 12. My degree here is a 2. My leading coefficient is 13. And this is a quadratic trinomial. So now I'd like you to take a second, pause this video, and try examples 2 and 3 on your own. So if we take a look at question number 2, we need to distribute the negative 4 out. And when I do that, I end up with negative 2y to the 4th plus 6y minus 3 plus 16y to the 4th minus 8y minus 4. I combine my like terms. Negative 2y to the 4th and 16y to the 4th give me 14y to the 4th. 6y and negative 8y gives me negative 2y, and negative 3 and negative 4 gives me a negative 7. The degree is 4, the leading coefficient is 12, and this is a quartic trinomial. Number 3, I need to distribute that negative 2 out. I end up with 2k cubed plus 8k squared minus 2k minus 8 minus 10k cubed plus 8k squared plus 12k minus 6. Combine our like terms. 2k cubed and negative 10k cubed will give me a negative 8k cubed. 8k squared and 8k squared, oh sorry, I made a mistake there, would give me 16k squared. Then I have negative 2k and 12k, which give me a 10k. And then negative 8 and negative 6 give me a negative 14. So I'm just going to rewrite my answer. I apologize. So it's negative 8k cubed plus 16k squared plus 10k minus 14. So then this would still be cubic, but it wouldn't be a trinomial. It would be a cubic polynomial. If you have any questions, please comment them on this video or on the Google Classroom and complete practice worksheet number 15.